I was told a long time ago that he who has the land is the man.
Yes,
and
yes.
Real estate is a blessing of God.
Come on now.
God created heaven and earth.
Didn't he? Who created it?
God created it and told Adam and Eve to tend to it.
Come on now, not just tend to it. Get what he said. Dominion.
Yes, sir.
Is yours.
Multiplying that thing.
Come on now.
One thing we're not running out of is a lot of land.
Right.
I'm excited about this next guest that we have with us.
Oh man, now let me explain to some of y'all about this gentleman. We've been together over 20 years, he and I. Now this is one of my favorite kind of conversations because he put me in my first house.
Wow.
Yeah, when I doubted real estate, he told me it was really straight. You did? He set me down and said, "No, Crockett, you can get out."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "For real?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this was 04, man. I bought my first house, December of 04.
Wow.
With Mr. Danny McKinney. You hear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, man. You're more than welcome.
Man, watching you two guys work, man, I need to.
Look at you. You make me feel like I'm at home.
You know, you guys are professionals at this.
Thank you,
Wow,
man.
wow.
Yeah.
It's a joy. And listen, just to glean from your success is a blessing not only to us, but to everybody who's listening and watching right now. So take us into your story, man, how you got started with real estate.
Okay, so 1996, I graduated from law school.
Okay.
TSU, Thurgood Marshall.
Yes,
Yeah, shout out to
Yes, sir.
TSU.
Yes, sir.
Yes, baby.
And I decided that real estate, which I was in real estate before I went to law school, was my passion, and that's what I wanted to do. So I fell back in it. 2 months after graduating, I opened my real estate brokerage company, which is McKinney Real Estate and Investment Company.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Then 2 months later, I opened my mortgage company, which is Diversified Home Mortgage, which, back then there wasn't any license requirement. And I said, well, hey, you know what? If I can control the money,
Right.
I can control the deal.
Right.
So if I have buyers that want to buy and I can get their loan approved, then we know what we're cooking, we know we're doing good business. So I started the mortgage company, Diversified Home Mortgage. And then in 2018, I started the real estate development and investment company, which is DMAC Capital Funding, which I'm working with some projects with Mr. Crockett here.
Yes, sir.
One of
Yes,
my
sir.
investors.
Together.
Yes.
Nothing can separate us, not
Yes.
space nor time.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I love that, the partnership, man. Talk about why that's so important, because a lot of times I've seen as I've gotten younger in this life, sometimes we'll get into real estate, we'll get into buying properties, and a lot of guys will get isolated and do it in a corner by themselves.
Right.
And I hear you and meeting you, I understand that community, working together, partnership is vital.
You know, it's funny. I heard a statement today. Someone said, in our community, we when it comes to investments, we like to do show money,
Yeah, man.
but we don't like to grow money.
Right.
And sometimes we can't grow it by ourselves. Sometimes we have to link up and create partnerships.
Come on, man.
And, one of the deals I worked with on Mr. Crockett, I was short.
Okay.
He came in, we partnered, and were able to get the deal done. So that is
Praise God.
crucial
Yeah,
when
yes,
it
sir.
comes to doing business, especially in real estate, because real estate is one of the best investments that you can do. You can put your hands on it.
Right.
That's the great thing about it. Stocks, of course, you don't know what they're doing.
Right.
Crypto, you don't know what they're doing.
Right.
But you got to sit back and say what the market's going to do. But when you have real estate,
Yes,
you can
sir.
go put your hands on it, you can improve it, and then the tax benefits are so good.
Oh my God.
So partnering with each other is key. We have a $2 trillion, our community produces $2 trillion.
Yeah.
And there's no way we should not be owning a lot of stuff,
Period.
period. So, his brother stepped up, and quite a few other brothers have stepped up.
Yeah,
It's definitely...
and it definitely makes sure that he partners in the community. And what doesn't happen is it gets highlighted, right?
Right.
It doesn't get highlighted what he's done over the last 20 years in the real estate space,
Okay.
right? When he says he owns these companies, Dan is a lawyer, so he talks technically, but just real live primitive.
Yeah.
Man, the man he owns and has access to everything, including the funding. He's also a builder, so he can build as well. And what happens is, if you have an idea and you're willing to execute it, having a conversation with Danny can bring that idea to pass.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a real thing. Whatever it takes in order for that to be accomplished, he knows the nuances in the system in order to get that done. Why would you go to a mortgage company instead of to a bank? Right? Because the bank is under stringent rules and regulations of that particular
Correct.
bank.
Correct.
And not one bank is the same.
Correct.
But a mortgage broker understands how to navigate with the banks as well as the private money.
Right.
See, he ain't said them words yet, but that private money, that good hedge fund money,
Yeah.
he creates that. He understands how to deal with that. He knows how to tap into that. When you start talking about hard money lending in order to do a deal, right? Where you need to leverage everything and get hard money. Well, he has access to the best hard money to close deals, right? And even when a deal is almost together, but you need something in order to close that deal, you need just a little bit more to get you over the hump. Well, what Danny does is goes and finds those resources to get you where you need to be to close that deal.
Exactly.
Now, that you're never going to get that at a conventional bank
Correct.
in your life.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Partnership.
Correct.
Go ahead, bro.
Definitely. Having the resources, because financing, most people think, okay, let me just go to a bank. And if the bank turns me down, I don't know where else to go. It's over with. It's done. I got to go restructure, or I got to go do what they're asking me to do. There are so many resources from, of course, banking. You got institutional banks. You got community banks. You got credit unions. They all have different guidelines. Then you also have the hard money. Then you also have private money. You have individuals out there with money that are willing to say, okay, I want to invest in this particular. Now, the interest rate may be a little harder,
Right.
but that's carrying costs that you carry for a short period of time until you get your project underway. Then you go back to the bank and say, hey, you told me no bank.
Right.
I got it done.
Right.
Now give me the money that I want at the interest rate that I should be getting.
Period.
Okay. But those resources are, they're just, you cannot go around without having those resources.
So let me say this in a different way. And I'm trying to think of how to ask the question to get you to see it, Danny. But you know how we dance,
Right.
So I'm gonna just say it this time.
Make it plain.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So we just did a deal.
Okay.
One of my clients needed 2.1 million in order to purchase 4 lots.
Okay.
Right. He had it on each lot. He had his business. Right. Well, a conventional bank couldn't do it because they didn't understand the nuances of the deal. Well, once we took this deal to Body. Look at me. Once we took this deal to Danny, right?
Right.
Pardon me, y'all. That was another associate of mine.
Right.
Once we took the deal to Danny, Danny then looked at the deal and structured the deal, closed and funded the deal, and now the gentleman has all of the property.
Wow.
Right? So this gentleman that wanted these 4 shops, now he went and tried to do it on his own, and he couldn't because he went to his banker. Where all his money is. And they told him no. That's a whole nother lesson.
Yes, sir.
Right.
It's
That
time
happens a
out
lot.
for all my money being in a bank and then the bank telling me no. That means that,
Exactly.
first of all, y'all shouldn't have my money if y'all gonna tell me knowing you understand my business model. You don't even have somebody to refer me to that can assist me because you guys can't do it under your own guidelines, right? And even though, being aware is challenging, even though I personally understand and am aware of the SBA guidelines and the difference between what their requirements are and your requirements, your bank is making the requirements too stringent for me to get approved when the SBA is saying you can have the money. I will insure the money. Right? So now I got to go find somebody that got an SBA program to take this insurance on this money, because that's all the SBA do is insure money, right?
Same
For us to be
FHA.
able to get it, because that when they insure the money, that's for you to use in place of collateral. So now it's a collateralized loan due to the SBA being involved, and you still telling me no. But then I need to move my money.
Yeah.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Period. The end.
Yeah. It's unbelievable that most banks, and think about underwriters, they don't own businesses.
They say it one more time.
So they don't understand the nuances of running a business, accounting from a business standpoint, and they don't understand that. They're looking at a guideline. They can't even think outside the guideline in some cases, and their judgment is based on those guidelines.
Period.
And a lot of times you have to show them the way, and I've done it so many times, and I've had knockdown, drag out fights with underwriters, getting them to understand these are how things are done in the real world, as opposed to what you're reading on a piece of paper that says this is where the guidelines are. And the banks that are open to that are the ones who are successful and who are doing good business. The ones that are just stringent and don't want it, hey, I'll move on.
Yeah.
You know, I put them in that file, and I know, okay, I can't move anybody over there for that particular reason.
Right. I love the fact that you are not only successful in your own right, from a lawyer, real estate, and so much more.
I have a law degree, but I don't practice law. So
He always say that.
I have to have a disclaimer. I can point you in the right direction.
Yeah.
So to us,
Yeah.
you're still a lawyer.
Come on, now. Come on.
Yes, sir.
AV understands me.
Right,
You know?
right.
As long as he practices when it's necessary. Let's go to work.
Yeah.
Right.
But I love the fact that you can, like you said, keep it real and offer the resources to the people in the community, because a lot of times we don't know. Yeah, you go to the bank, you hear and know, you say that's it.
Right.
You feel like the dream is destroyed.
Right.
Come on, man.
But the opportunity to be able to start in real estate, because there's so many people who want to do that. There's so many people who want to step out in that. But that fear of that first no stops them.
Come on.
Right.
You know,
Right.
How do you connect the community to get us over that hump, man? How do you help get us over that hump?
Well, you know, it really lays upon us, because we have to educate ourselves. And I try to be a beacon for education when it comes to real estate financing, and development. You know, the first time I developed a piece of property, you know what I did? I went to the library, got a book that said Development for Dummies, and read that book. And when I read it, it gave me enough education and enough courage and confidence to say, okay, I can do this.
Right.
And it's those little things that you can do for yourself. But definitely reach out to me. You can go to DannyMcKinney.com and reach out to me, and I can advise you on what you need to do depending on what type of project that you want to do, whether it's buying a multifamily, whether it's buying a residential home, duplex, developing a duplex. I can definitely help you on those things. And then also advise you on getting the financing for those projects.
Yeah, because I'm tired of seeing, other people come into our communities, buying up all this land that's been sitting here for years.
Come on
developing,
now.
like you said, homes,
Right.
duplexes, and everything else on the property.
Exactly.
And we sitting back like, oh, Lord, what are they doing to our community?
Right.
We should be in position to do it ourselves.
Exactly.
When we are in position
Right.
to do it ourselves,
We're just not doing it.
The thing, and that's what's
It's
happening.
$2 trillion.
Right.
It's $2 trillion.
Come on now. That's an understatement.
Right.
And not just that, a lot of these deals don't take money. They take will.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
Will and trust in yourself.
And some
the
creative financing.
Come on, that's it. And some creative. Ain't no way to not have no creative financing. That's just a real thing.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm mentioning that, Danny has and he's so funny. Danny has a program that he does. It's an educational program that you can go to his site and see what's going on, and he'll be able to, during this, he explains to you how to do deals with hard money. How to do deals with investment capital. How to start your own hedge fund for real estate. Danny is a very modest guy, but Danny manages a hedge fund for multifamily real estate. So
we got to get them to explain, because we hear that a lot. People hear
Right.
that a lot in the community. I've got several partners of mine who, God has blessed them through a hedge fund.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well,
Take us to
so-
the dummy 101.
Right,
Take us to
right.
The hedge fund dummy
Dummy
class 101.
Yeah, come on now,
All
come
right.
on now.
So DMAC Capital Funding, which I started in 2018, is a real estate investment fund, and it's a mortgage pool fund. So what I do is have investors invest in the and they get equity positions in the company, in the fund, and we take that money and loan it out on hard money projects. We charge a little bit higher interest rate, but we help people get over the hump. Same thing I talked about before.
Right.
So
The program that I have is it's called Private Lending Profits, and that program basically is telling people and showing people how they can be private lenders. Now, why would you want to be a private lender? Well, a lot of y'all have investment capital, which means you have a 401k, you have an annuity, you have money in crypto, you have money in stocks. That is investment capital that you have chosen to say, you know what, I'm going to put this into a vehicle that's going to, and hopefully it's going to return a great return for me.
Right.
Well, why not do that in real estate on your own? I know people, and I've helped people that have side hustles. They have full-time jobs. They have investment capital. They even have a 401k. They pull that money out of their 401k and used it to do private lending. Now, what is private lending? Well, private lending basically is someone comes to you and says, hey, I want to buy this piece of property. I'm going to fix it up and I'm going to flip it. And I need you as a private individual to loan me the money just like the bank. You're going to get a mortgage against the property, just like the bank, for your security. Okay, and we're going to set it up where I'm going to pay you monthly the same interest that I would be paying a bank, but I'm going to be paying it to you. Now that gives people, individuals,
it's a little bit more interest than the bank, right?
Yeah, well, typically, on a private money deal, you're going to charge anywhere from between 10 to 15%.
Okay.
In the state of Texas, 18% is usury, so you can't go over that amount. But there's also a way to make money on the back end, meaning you can do some profit sharing. So if you loan the money out to someone who wants to buy a piece of property, and you can tell them, look, I'm going to charge you 10% for my money, but I want a 10% profit sharing. So if you make $40,000 when you flip that property, I want 10%. So you're going to give me an extra $4,000 when you flip it. Now you might only need my money for 4 months. Yeah. When you give me my money back after you sell it property, because I'm going to get paid off just like the bank would be, yeah. I'm going to turn around and do it again with you. Yeah. Maybe 2 more times that year. So therefore, in most cases, my money might turn into 30, 40% return on my money. Now, where are you getting that in the market? Yeah. And it's secure because, like I say, it's secures against real estate where you can go put your hands on it.
So me, right, and I'm gonna play like I ain't me. So, person interested in this, listening to you on the radio, you're basically telling them, you know how you can go find them funding to fund their deal. Mm-hmm. They execute their deal, and once their deal is done, you can refinance them out of their deal.
Correct. They could get
the deal could be permanent in whatever direction they choose. Meaning they could refinance it and keep the property, or they could finish the deal and sell the property to someone else and get their profit out of it. And you can handle the financing on each. You can handle their customers' financing, correct, or their own refinance.
Correct.
And you can build their project.
Correct.
And you can fund their project that they need to build.
Correct.
So if they want to build an 80-unit apartment complex with 10,000 square feet of commercial up under,
right,
you could go get the funding.
I can go get the funding, just like I did with your project.
And then you can build it.
Exactly. Then we have a development team that has been, it's a second generation builder that I partner with, and we're building projects as we speak. Right now I'm building a townhome project in Rice Military that my partners we're doing. So, and we're doing Mr. Crockett's 80-unit apartment complex, and we provided him with the financing and the project management for the building. Okay. So those are the things that we can do.
Down. Mm-hmm. That not the project management, right? Mm-hmm. Now, once it's permanently done, what you gonna do?
When it's done, we're gonna refinance it, and then if you want me to get into it, I can show you how that's gonna break down. Because typically, when you do new construction, especially on multifamily, and using your case as an example, we're probably going to do it for about $12.5 million, 78-unit apartment complex. It's probably going to be worth about $21 million once he gets through with it. So he'll be able to go to the bank after it's stabilized, meaning that it's been leased out, all the units have been leased out, it's stabilized. He'll be able to go there to the bank and get 80% of that $21 million. So you're looking at about $16 million. So he's going to pocket about $4 million, which is tax-free money. That he can go do it again.
What makes it tax-free?
Because it's a loan.
So you mean I don't have to pay any
You
taxes?
don't have to pay taxes on that.
So when you take me to the bank, right, is the bank going to ask for my financial statement or my college degree?
Well, of course, a bank is going to still look at the finance, but they're mainly going to be concerned with how the property is producing and what the property is doing.
You're talking about their property. So once we finish with that, are we going to go get we got these 10 acres.
Oh, yeah.
So when I'm ready to go to the 10 acres, are they going to ask me for my degree or for my financial statement?
They're going to ask for your financial statement.
Now, based on what you just said, I got $4 million in my financial statement, plus some other et cetera.
Exactly.
Right? So
plus you got an income-producing property that's producing.
Okay. It'd be hard for them to say no on that.
Right.
And that is the lesson. Now, so let's just say this. Say I wanted to do this very small, same conversation. I wanted to purchase a home, right? But I got the land. When I build a land, when we build on the land, I got the gap, right? So say we spend $200 on the bill, right? We buy the land, we spend $200 on the whole shebang. With that, it's worth, let's say, $400. So then we do the same formula. Can I take about $100 out?
Yeah, you can go back in and refinance.
Can I take that? Is that $100 tax free? Now, when I take that 100, can I take that 100 and invest in more property?
Yeah, of course.
So you saying even on a small scale, I can work the same principle and become a tax-free person?
Correct. That money that you take out and use is tax-free because it's a loan. So that's the way they structure.
If I'm in a position and I have a 401k that's got a couple of $100,000 in it, right? Can I then take my 401k and invest my 401k in my own building projects?
Yes, you can.
And then start turning my own money?
Yes, you can. Now, you have to also take into consideration, and I'm not a financial planner or a financial advisor.
Well, saying that
exactly.
But
if you take out your 401k, unless you roll it over into something like an IRA or a self-directed IRA, which I teach that also in my private lending. If you want to learn about my private lending profits course, to go to private lending profits training.com and you can learn about that. But in that, you're gonna get hit with a penalty unless you roll it over or into a self-directed IRA or something like that.
So if you roll it into a self-directed IRA, does that mean that I can now invest it into building projects?
Of course.
So, and I won't be taxed on it?
No, your tax will be deferred.
What will my tax be?
It'll be deferred.
So I can roll it into a what now?
You can roll it into a self-directed IRA.
And then my taxes will be
deferred.
And I can continue to make
money on it. Correct.
And now I have control of my money making myself?
Correct.
No, you got to be playing with
That's the game.
Is that on your program?
That's the game. That's on my program.
Oh, okay.
What's that website you said again?
Private Lending Profits Training.com. And you can go there and you can learn about how to become a private lender and how you, instead of, letting the bank do it, you can do it on your own. Why are you allowing the bank to take your money in? You sitting it in there, they're only paying you less than 1%, if that. I know on CDs it's almost, in some cases you can get up to 5% now. But you're sitting there when you can turn around and loan it out to in real estate and make sure you have a experienced real estate investor, loan it out to him or her, and then charge them 10% interest, and then maybe also get some profit sharing. And then you make anywhere between 15-20% return on your money, as opposed to that's annualized projections, and you earn a better return for the use of your money. And the great thing about it is you control it. So you determine the interest rate and you determine the terms, as opposed to putting your money in the stock market where you don't know what you're gonna get back. You don't know the turn. Crypto, you playing Russian roulette. You don't know what's going on. So
it's a real thing.
And you got a mortgage that's gonna secure it. So in the event something happens, you can always go take the property back. You make sure you don't loan no more than 70%, maybe 75% of the value, because of worst case scenario of the property
of the project.
Okay. So if it's worth $100,000, the max you're gonna loan is $70,000 or $75,000.
Now, does that the loan piece come out on the draw?
Huh?
Does the loan piece come out on the draw?
The loan piece?
Yeah. So when I'm doing the lending, right, and I'm doing the funding,
right,
and we're doing the bill,
right,
do I just give all that money at one time, or
no,
does it come out on the draw?
No, you can do it on a draw.
Okay. Yeah, what does a draw mean?
So if you're doing a construction, say for instance, $200,000 property, guy needs $100,000 to buy the property. It's in shambles, so he needs to rehab it. So he needs another $50K you can either structure the deal where you do the purchase money and then he goes and get his own $50,000 to rehab it, or you can fund the whole thing and tell him, hey, I give you the $100 to purchase and I give you the $50 to rehab it. And at that point in time, you can say, and I also want some profit on the back end.
I like how you use that profit. We gotta get that.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to definitely bring Danny back. Man, time flies when you're having fun.
Wow.
I give your website again so everybody can
You can go to DannyMcKinney.com. That's DannyMcKinney.com. Or you can go to PrivateLendingProfitsTraining.com to get my private lending program. Danny McKinney here, and thanks for tuning in. Hey, if you want more real estate training like the one that you just received, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel at DannyMcKinney.tv. I can also be reached at DannyMcKinney.com. You can also reach me at the Real Estate Wealth Builders Group on Facebook. Talk to you soon.